Welcome back to my channel. My name is Miranda and today I'm going to show you how to make 2 different loaves of sourdough bread at the same time, cooking them in your oven at home in 2 different Dutch ovens. I'm going to be making one plain and one cheddar. So let's get started. Add 700 grams of water to your bowl, 200 grams of your active sourdough starter, and then we are going to mix this together. I'm gonna do 1,000 grams of bread flour, 20 grams of salt, and then go ahead and start mixing this together. Now that it's starting to incorporate, I'm going to go ahead and knead this for about 3 to 5 minutes. And you will notice it will be sticky right now and that it's gonna stick to your hands. Now that I have this all incorporated well together, I'm gonna go ahead and cover it. And then I'm gonna let this rest on the counter for 30 minutes and then come back and do my first round of stretch and folds. We are going to do our first round of stretch and folds. I went ahead and washed my hands and then I kept them wet. But what you're gonna do is just take your dough, stretch it up and fold it in, and then rotate your bowl. And you will do this all around your bowl. And then go ahead and cover and we'll come back in 30 minutes and do our second round. We are on to round 2 of our stretch and folds. Again, I wash my hands and I do keep them wet. You will notice the dough will be less sticky this time, but again, pull it up, stretch, and fold it in. Stretch, fold, stretch, and fold. And then cover, and we will come back in another 30 minutes and do the last round of stretch and folds. We are going to do our last round of stretch and folds. You'll notice this time the dough isn't as sticky, but I still do wet my hands. So go ahead and stretch it up and fold it in. And then just make sure you do this clear around your bowl. Now go ahead and cover, and we're going to let our dough rest for anywhere from 4 hours to 12 hours. This is called the bulk fermentation process. And you'll know your dough is ready to shape when you'll notice some jiggle in it and some bubbles on top. So just check it throughout the next 4 to 12 hours to see when it's ready to shape. Now that my dough is done with the bulk fermentation, we are going to split this in half since we are making 2 loaves. So first thing I'm gonna do is get some flour out on my countertop. Next, go ahead and get your dough out on the counter, and it should just fall right out of the bucket. And I do want these to be pretty even, so I am going to measure. Each one's gonna be around like 960 grams. So the first loaf I'm shaping right now is just going to be plain, and I'm just gonna pull it out to a rectangle. And then after that, I'm gonna fold it into thirds, and then I'll roll it up. And then when you push it away and then you pull it back to you, you're gonna tuck it underneath. And you'll just keep doing that until you build some tension on your dough. I'm gonna flour the top of it. And then I'm also gonna take my Banneton basket and I'm gonna get some flour inside there too. Go ahead and use your scraper to pick up your dough and then place it in your Banneton basket. And then I will cover this and this will go in the fridge. I'm gonna get my other piece of dough. Again, go ahead and pull it out to a rectangle. And this one we're gonna add some cheese to. So I have about 3 ounces of cheese chopped up here, and just go ahead and spread it all around. And then I'm going to fold it into thirds and then add more cheese. Go ahead and fold that again, and then I'll add the rest of the cheese here. Go ahead and roll it up. And when you're shaping dough that has things added to it, you don't want to pull it too much, otherwise you'll rip it and then everything will fall out. So I try to keep it just to a couple times. Go ahead and add some flour on top. And again, in your Banneton. Place your dough in your Banneton basket. And then I will cover this and then place this in the fridge. And then I will go ahead and bake both of these tomorrow morning. Go ahead and place both of your Dutch ovens in your oven. And then you're going to preheat your oven to 450 degrees. I am fixing to get my dough out of the fridge. I will put one of these on each of the parchment paper. So you want at least one deep cut, and then you can do a more shallow decoration if you want to. Going to go ahead and move these to the side. I'm going to go ahead and get out both of my Dutch ovens. And then go ahead and add your bread to your Dutch oven. Place the lid back on both of them. And we're gonna place them back in the oven and bake them for 30 minutes at 450. And then I'll remove the lids and then bake them for another 10 to 15 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and remove the lids. And then bake for another 10 to 15 minutes. And there we go. They both look like they turned out so good. This one is the plain. It literally looks so pretty. And here is the cheddar, which looks so good. But I will put the full recipe in the description below, and then follow me for more recipes.